Hello, Richardson ISD. Well, yet another week has come and gone. We're getting closer to wrapping up the 2019-2020 school year. No one could have ever predicted this, but here we are, and we're doing all we can to make the best of it. I can't express how much I miss seeing the faces of students and teachers, principals, and all of my wonderful coworkers. I know this is hard, y'all, but we're still moving forward, and we are going to get through this together. So last week I mentioned a new tool called Let's Talk. Let's Talk is on the RSD website, and it's a way for us to communicate about the various situations that we're facing regarding the coronavirus. Anyone can submit a question about topics like at-home learning, health services, meal service, counseling services, the class of 2020, or you can send a question directly to me. The great thing about this tool I've found out so far, I really like that the questions go directly to the appropriate person so that you can receive a timely response. Let's Talk was rolled out last Friday, and I want to address some things that I have heard this past week. It's already working, and so I have some information to share directly from it. The questions I'm getting most are, what does the summer and fall look like for having school? And input about graduation. There are many uncertainties right now, but I want to tell you what I know and address both of these areas in this video, as well as just a couple of other things. We're planning a closeout process for the end of the school year for all schools. It's going to happen in the coming weeks. This closeout process will be a drive-thru event at every campus, so students can pick up personal items left in classrooms and lockers before spring break. You can also drop off library books. Be looking for information the end of next week from your campus principals with specific details and information. In addition, principals are also planning end-of-year activities, and so they'll let you know those plans. Regarding devices, if you're coming back to school in Richardson ISD next year, you'll keep them over the summer because we have some needs for students to have those. Summer school registration begins on May 1st at noon, and there are 2 virtual acceleration learning sessions beginning May 27th through June 19th and July 6th through the 31st. You can find more information on these sessions and the registration link on the RSD website. So the big question is the fall. The fall, what will happen in the fall? So I have to tell you that the fall is still pretty uncertain. We just can't say anything really specific as of now, but we're putting plans in place for return to school and also at-home learning. There may be a combination of the two, but as with this situation, things are ever changing, but we will be ready when the time comes. I know that the thought of returning to physical school in August may cause anxiety for some teachers, staff, and parents. Staff members with health conditions may feel uneasy about going into a building. Parents, you have, and I know that you have concerns because I've been hearing from you, some concerns about the fall, about your child being in close proximity with other students. These concerns are valid and very real, and we want you to know that your thoughts are being heard, but we want to know more from you. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions. We're going to be sending out 2 surveys next week, one to staff and one to parents, in an effort to hear your concerns. You've given great suggestions throughout the past 6 weeks, and we've heard them, so we want to hear more from you. The first part of each one of the surveys is going to be some of our standard questions that we use to make improvements in areas every year about culture and climate. The second part of the survey, though, is directly related to COVID-19. We genuinely want to know how you're feeling now so that we can gauge your concerns about returning to the classroom and/or sending your child back to school in August. These surveys will be sent in the next week, so be looking for them in your email. It's more important than ever before that you say something to us and just know that this is going to help guide our decisions moving forward. Now, regarding graduation, with the governor's announcement this past Monday about reopening businesses, many parents across the district have reached out asking us to reassess our graduation plans. There are several surrounding districts particularly in Collin County, that have released their plans for some types of creative in-person options. Our high school principals and I talk every day, and we are on board to exploring some of these options, but we want input from our senior parents and our seniors themselves. So this Friday, our high schools are going to send out a survey, and we want your feedback. We need your feedback. Be looking for that survey as we take a new look to reassess our plans in light of the new order from the governor, as well as to respond to the requests from our parents that we've received asking us to take another look at that. Next week, y'all, is Teacher Appreciation Week. It's Teacher Appreciation Week in Richardson ISD. And we know that we have the absolute best teachers. I speak this from my heart, but I also know I speak for many, many parents when I say to our teachers that you have one of the hardest, most important jobs ever. You've poured every ounce of your being and then some into your students this past 6 weeks, and you have worked endless hours to ensure that they continue to feel your love and presence. We can never fully express our gratitude for what you do, what you've done all year. Richardson ISD teachers, we are planning fun activities that you'll be learning about. Your principals are planning some great things for you. But I want to tell you that I deeply appreciate what you do day in and day out for our students. So in closing, a really good friend of mine recently shared an article about what happens when something in life brings us to a halt. You know, before the coronavirus, the only time we really experienced a stop down when we had to close schools was when we had to close for bad weather. And this doesn't happen very often in Texas. But on occasion, we have some crazy weather. Throughout our lives, we've had blizzards, if you will. We've seen a blizzard or two. And even though we didn't have school, we knew it was something that would end in a few days. Our job was to wait it out at home. Now, winter is a little different because it can last many months, much longer than a blizzard. And just as winter does last longer than a blizzard, an ice age lasts much longer than winter, 18 months or more. Blizzard, winter, ice age. Fortunately, we're looking at the coronavirus as winter. It's not an ice age, and this will end. If you know anything about me personally, I will tell you that, or remind you that I really dislike cold weather. I would go so far as to say I normally hate the season of winter. The best thing about winter, though, is that it always ends. The sun brings in the warmth of summer. Right now, this quarantine, to me and to a lot of people, feels like winter. But we're not stuck in an ice age. This season is changing quickly. And although it may not end exactly when we want it to or how we want it to, it will end, and we're all going to be back together again soon. So continue to look forward to summer. I know I sure am. But in the meantime, from my home to yours, please stay safe and be well. And P.S., don't forget to fill out those surveys. Thanks, y'all.